Hi everyone, welcome to this week's Ask AJ, and this week I'm with the lovely Rebecca, who we've not seen for a while. She's been busy.
Been hiding.
Very busy. So on this week's Ask AJ, we're going to talk about why it's still important for hard copy brochures and why they're fundamental to helping sell your house. Obviously these days a lot of people, online and looking on Rightmove and getting all the details via PDFs and all that kind of thing. But we certainly find for the nature of the homes that we're selling, you can't beat having a nice hard copy brochure like this.
Yeah, and the people tend to always revert back. If it's on your coffee table, you get reminded of a house you've been to.
You really do.
Yeah.
So we try and make ours very unique, or rather Bex tries to make them very unique. So she creates like a motif or a brand for every home. So this is a new one, hot off the press today. So I don't know if you can see that. So she made this nice sort of motif just here for this particular house, Craven Forge, which is one of our lovely homes that are just coming onto the market in the Dales. And the reason, why do we do that?
Just so they're unique to the house, and it gives the viewer something to remember them by. So they've seen that in the house, think, oh yeah. For example, I guess these ones I took from the cornicing of the.
It's like a pattern.
Yeah, the wood in the
right,
ceiling,
yeah.
which you can see. You can't really see it that well, but it's in the fireplace. So I thought that kind of gives a nice nod to the interior of the house.
Yeah. And you try and continue the patterns, don't you, throughout the brochure or the motif or something, so it creates consistency throughout
this
the brochure.
This gives it a brand as well. So I've run it through on the bottom as well. So it just creates a brand for each house, like you would, I guess, a company or a shop. I don't know.
No, you're right. I think it does. It creates what you'd get for like a product or literally a brand. So that adds sort of some prestige to the house. It kind of adds value to the house. And also something like the sort of brochures that Bex creates and puts together, they also feel nice. There was one...
Soft touch one.
Is that what they call it? It's that soft touch. So obviously you can't feel it through the camera, but trust us. It's got a really nice feel to it. So it's very tangible more than anything. So basically you're making sure your buyers not only remember the house itself, but they've got something that they can remember in terms of touch and feel.
Yeah.
And more importantly, what they tend to do is, particularly if we've got a sale agreed, is we'll give a few copies of the brochure to the buyers, and then they're likely going to go home and they're going to show it off to friends, maybe pass it around, and that sort of helps to concrete the sale, so to speak, because they've kind of shown it off to everybody. Yeah. And it gives them, as you say, something really nice to remember it by.
And obviously we make sure we focus on the best bits as well of the house. It's a showcase, so they'll remember those, and if we're showing it in its best light, they're going to see it in its best light and see
absolutely. Yeah. So like, for instance, if say we're selling something that's got a really good plot or the views are really important, that's the thing that Bex tries to sort of capture and really make the most of within the brochure. So I think there was one here, Rowan 8. So this is more of like a plot that we're selling, so it's really important to get lots of drone shots, lots of aerial images. And then what you tend to do, I don't know if it's in here, but it's really good, you can do like a boundary line.
Oh yeah.
Which really helps to sort of show exactly what they're buying. So often if you're there on the day of a viewing...
But this is just actually the site plan. But that kind of shows the house in perspective compared to how much land it has. But on some of them we also draw it around the actual drone picture as well, so you can see it in real life, I guess. I mean, I've got that on here.
I think we did have in that one. But the reason that helps is, so if you're on a viewing, obviously as you're walking around, it's quite difficult, particularly if you've got lots of acres of land. It's nice to actually have the brochure there in big, it's quite large, our brochures. So you can really get a feel for where you're walking, where the boundary sits, where the house is, proximity to, say, the lake or an important landmark or whatever like that. So they're really sort of beneficial. So they're a great sort of tool to have on a viewing, but also post-viewing as well. I mean, if possible, we try and send out brochures before the viewing even happens, so then they can start building some excitement around the house, get a feel for it. They can start thinking about what kind of questions they want to ask, and it just sort of sets the tone, I think, for the viewing on the nature of the house that they're going to be looking at. So they are really important, and I think if nothing else, they help really captivate people's interest in that home. I mean, the twilight images.
Oh yeah.
Obviously you've heard about these loads if you watch Ask AJ's a lot. Our twilight shots, so that's when our lovely delivery team and our fantastic photographers go out just after sunset and capture the house with all the lights on, and it really helps to portray a house in literally a different light. Viewings tend to be during the day. I know it's getting a bit dark now, but it's a nice opportunity to sort of show off what the house will be like in the evening. and something like the twilight shots really help to draw the eye, pull people in and get a feel for what it could be like into the evening. So you try to use those twilights quite a lot, don't you? It's like the main image on the brochures. But I definitely think in the sort of day and age of electronics and PDFs, I do think having a hard, and they go down really well on viewings when we bring these along, don't they? And people really enjoy sort of flicking through them and having a look. And I think in the same sense of having the boundary line, Bex also tries to do a big, the biggest floor plan that she can within the brochure. So, whether it crosses 2 pages or potentially 3 pages, it's just really important. And having the compass on there, because obviously everybody wants to know, well, where am I going to enjoy my morning coffee while the sun comes up, or am I going to have a glass of wine while the sun goes down? So that's why we try and do that. That's a big one.
They follow it through, so if they're on the viewings, they can skip. So I always pop it in the back page as well, so they can skip straight to that if they want. Good. And walk through the house with obviously our viewing team, and so they can get a feel of the layout and
how it flows. And what I tend to find, particularly with men, they might start actually drawing, what they're going to do to the house, and you can use these are for our viewers or buyers to keep, and they can start making plans. And once they do that,
in there.
where's my wardrobe going to go, and will my bed fit in there? And then you're again sort of concreting their interest in the house, because they can actually start thinking of their life in that house. So that's why these are just so important. So I think you're working on about 12 of these this week.
Ready for Boxing Day, so keep your eyes peeled.
Yeah. So that's a good point. So we have, I think it's 10 or 12 homes that are going to be launched on Boxing Day. New listings, not been seen before. So do keep an eye out. And of course, if you see anything you like the look of, you'd really like to have a hard copy to show to friends or get a feel for it, do give our office a call, and we can get some posted out to you as soon as possible, and then you can hopefully, following that, either arrange a viewing or have a viewing arranged already. Okay, so that's the importance of a hard copy brochure, and if I don't see you again, I might be on next week's Ask AJ, you never know. If we don't, we wish you a very Merry Christmas.